Hello and welcome back to our Wood Elf campaign, where we are slowly pillaging some dwarves, trying to fabricate some claims to destroy the beastmen and intervene in wars that interest us. Now, I have not been keeping an eye much on wars that could be of any interest to us, but that's mostly because... Oh, Vladimir, why are you doing this? I cannot join the war because I'm not at peace. Okay, so when we have completely burnt these dwarves dry, we actually gotta join in the war of Tabak lands against Vladimir. I don't know who's the offender in this war. She is attacking, but Vlad is winning, it appears. Yes, she is. Well, we're gonna join in that war as soon as the chances arrives for us, but we first gotta just, you know, siege this dwarven scum down. To amass wealth, always lovely. So this dark crystal, I am gonna need to read up on this. Anaparaya. So, the reason this actually gets cancelled because they want... So Naparaya or Illustria, but I don't know what Naparaya is. Is it an empire or something? Arabia. Somebody's... one of the developers said I should look towards the south for this, but I really have no clue. Yeah, I should really read up on these crystals and see what the lore behind them is, so I can perhaps more efficiently look for them. It's called a dark crystal, right? Acquire dark crystal. We're shipped from Cathay in the old new world. We're shipped from Cathay. I remember Cathay. Now I don't remember where it is, but I remember the name. Why do I remember the name? CK2. Go from here? Don't think that's right. So let's read it. The ship from Cathay in the old world and new world. From Cathay, it must be something. I don't know what a Cathay is then. One was thrown into the Eastern Sea by Ysel upon a betrayal. I don't know where the Eastern Sea is. Is that here? Can I get some... No. Alright, so... If we would consider this would be the Eastern Sea, right? Sea of Storms, Wizard's Lizard Sea... Sea of Bitter Sea... Okay, so I don't know. Two were lost in Naparaya. Let's see if you can find that. Naparaya. Is this actually a kingdom? So two of them are supposed to be around here. Alright. Perhaps we can do some raiding there and see what happens. And... What was the... Okay, so one of which was later recovered by an imperial scribe. So there's one could be here, one is somewhere in the empire, and the third was lost at a poisonous. So we could start raiding either here right? There's somewhere in the Eastern Sea, northeast. That might actually be. I don't know. I have no clue where it is. So. One could be here, and one could be in the Imperial Empire, and one could be in the Illustria. Okay, so perhaps it's done through raiding? I don't know. I don't think I can actually declare war on... What? This is new. Okay, so... Wait, what? Skink? This entire bit here is new, I know that for sure, but I wasn't expecting a skink to be here. Do you have a slan? I'd love to see if you have a slan. These are considered... No, you don't have a slan. But this is interesting. I haven't seen these guys before, so they are new. Huh. Cathayans, I believed. Oh, so the Cathayan is from the eastern bits. Oh. The Cathayan believe there's lesser dragons, who both have nature and fate, and worship them as gods. But with few exceptions, their deities seldom involve themselves directly into the affairs of mortals, and the nature of their interactions can be as destructive as it can be benevolent. Depending on the situation and dragons involved, Xen the Heavenly Emperor, which is associated with life and fate, is one of the most active Cathayan gods and officially the ruler of their realm. Although foreigners tend to assume that he's the main and or only deity, Cathayans try and balance their offerings to please all their celestial masters. Other prominent figures of the Cathayan pantheon are Yen and Yain and Yain? I'm sorry, butchering that. Siblings of strife and conquest, Xiao Xian, the sleeping one, Faxing, the fire giver, and Zan Long, the ordainer. There is always a dragon emperor, landed or not. He's a feudal. Can declare war on you or something. Too distant to even interact with. Oh yeah, well that explains a lot. Is there anything more lore that I can get from this? Culture, no. Feudal, dynasty, doesn't really say anything, right? Right, so that's what I remember from the Cathayan. It's the southern continent. It's the version of Asia in the Warhammer universe. I don't know much about it. I'll be honest with you. I know about it because of one of the oh crap! I can't remember the name. Etchin. I believe it was the Etchin clan from the Skaven that went there, was lost and came back at some point, and they became little assassins, gutter runners, all that kind of stuff, specializing in assassination and basically serving the one who could provide them the most warpstone. It's kind of similar to the story of Clan Pestilence that went to Lustria and was considered lost, and came back to actually and wage war against the Council of 13 before the Horned Rat inevitably finally decided the warpstone pillar system that they've currently got in place. And I believe since that pillar is in place, there haven't been many changes to the Council of 13. I don't know exactly, but it's become very difficult to be won because you need to have the favor of the Horned Rat to begin with. So, as long as we have this war, I'm not really interested in that crystal, but I am gonna, raid these guys if I can get the chance somehow. Let's see, I don't really care much about these decisions. So, because I don't think I cannot declare war because he's too distant, right? So that's not gonna happen. Let's see if we can do some raiding. I don't even know if we else can raid to begin with. Oh, we can. Huh, we can loot. We should do that more often. Because there is quite a bit of money to be had, actually. So dwarves, they're not very functional to loot, right? Because you just need to seize down their holdings first. But there is some 14 ducats here. I could play this a lot more efficient. Strange that Elves. This is all behind bars. And most of it is. Oh, but this isn't. So there is some money to be gained here. And, yeah. You should make use of that. So we're no longer... I wish I could disable that message. Just say, I get it. I get it. Just tell me my Regency Council has ended. I don't need the other one. Alright. So, raiding and pillaging the southern lands. I don't think he's gonna like it, but if that means that we can... Yeah, if we can get one of these dark crystals. I don't know what it does. I don't know anything about these dark crystals, but the event apparently describes enough for me to perhaps figure it out. At some point I will probably read up on them anyway, just to get the lore behind it. If the item has not enough fluff text on it, I will definitely read up on it. Ugh, raiding dwarves, it's painful business. It just takes forever. It's not even raiding, it's just... Ugh. Annoying. Annoying, 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 annoying. Construction work has begun. That should speed up construction. Well, bigger practice range. At least we got some prestige to spend on improving on land. I can understand not being able to build a holding, but I would have loved to see it. You know, gain a little bit more land. Perhaps I should have done an internal struggle game. Try to start as one of these one-province miners and work my way up from there, but I don't even know what the laws are right now in our lands. I haven't really looked at it. Tribal organization. Low translation laws, tribals will not like it. Feudal taxation. Well, we don't have any feudal. This is not really interesting to me. So we perhaps should do a bit of this. See if we can get maxed out. Ah, that's not going to be popular. Minus 30, Jesus, man. No longer provide. Will now provide you with levies and will now provide you with taxes. As with relations. And there we go. We plundered it 100%. We'll offer the peace. We'll enforce the demands. Okay, get back home. We're getting there. This 300 more gold is required for us to buy that I don't know what it is with me and talking today, but it seems my brain is a bit out of it. It happens. Alright, so we'll stand down, we'll raise the army, we'll set them on looting. We'll go to Cathy. It's gonna take forever. And we'll see what happens. A wood elf incursion. But how are you going? Oh, you are going through the dwarven. Look, if the dwarves don't mind that we're using their tunnel systems, you know, it is a bit strange. Speaking of tunnel systems, I don't know if you've seen, because I am actually still keeping a close eye on Warhammer Total War, even though I really am pissed at the fact that they are putting Chaos behind a paywall. Yes, Chaos is a primary race. I don't think it's that much of a primary race in the Total War, Warhammer Total War, because it really focuses a lot on the humans and the orcs and their interactions, and the dwarves. But still, I think it's ridiculous to put an entire race behind a paywall. They should have, instead of, if anyone of Sega would ever listen to this, because I don't think there's a big chance that anybody who works at Sega is listening at my ramblings. What I would have suggested to do, because, you know, I've got my education in marketing, communication, all that kind of stuff, so I'm actually one of these assholes that thinks of these deals. Sklitter Spirit decides to drag her forever into the depths of Athalorin. What? My daughter will die. She's just some random low-born spirit. All to our friends from beyond. I'm not gonna give you my daughter. Piss off. Anyway, they should have made... There are multiple factions within the Empire, right? Make one of those a DLC day one pre-order bonus. It's still a scumbag move, right? I understand that. But at least don't put an entire race faction behind a damn paywall. It's ridiculous. You could do a sub-faction, but there are most likely multiple factions within Britannia. Do one of them. Do one of the border princes, right? Give them access to 9 of the 10 border princes or something that you want to implement, and put one of them behind a paywall, perhaps even 2, but don't bar off an entire faction, right? It feels like you make something. People made a comparison to Rome Total War and said, well, it's like putting Rome behind a paywall. I don't really agree with that, because that's a bit extreme, because it's not called Chaos rules the world Total War. It is Warhammer, and I understand that people are pissed. But it's more akin to putting like the French nation, the goals behind a paywall. They are an important piece, right? But they're not the major piece, or something like the Britons, right? That makes a bit more sense because they are not really around the Rome thing, and they're a bit Nordic. So that put entire Britannia depicts these guys around a paywall. We used to be. They're a primary factions, right? But they're not the number one factions that are important for the story that they're trying to create. Still, it's a bit of a bitch move, right? Just, you could have done something different, something that did not piss off most of your community. And the worst thing about this is, it feels like Sega and or Creative Assembly are simply not addressing the fact that this is happening. They are not, so far, had zero response to it. Their videos have been downvoted massively. There was a change.org petition which got banned, apparently. There's no response from change.org, I believe, so far as I know, or Sega, that any involvement with that. After it was banned, I didn't really read up on it afterwards, so there might be some new news about that. But there's a lot of stuff happening, and the community is really showing the fact that it's pissed off, and Sega is just not responding, not in a proper manner. And I think and here lies the problem. Here lies the might that one of these companies has, because a lot of people will still buy this game because they're big ass fans of the Warhammer franchise. They are big fans of the Total War franchise. They're just combining two of the biggest geeky franchises that are out there, and there's nothing we can do about it, and that just feels wrong. Yeah, we could all boycott the game. You see that happening? If that happens, because I, would suggest you do, but it's not going to make a difference, right? That's the problem. Sega's big enough. Creative Assembly is big enough. How do you boycott a game which is that much wanted by so many people? You don't. That's the problem I'm having right now. So, then you could say, well, just pirate it. Well, I'm not really I don't... It's like, no, just don't. Piracy never sold anything. I wish Sega would respond to it in a proper manner. That's basically what I would... Let them explain their decision, but so far I've seen nothing out of their marketing team. That suggests that they are even caring. I think that is what pisses me off the most. It feels like they're simply not caring about their community whatsoever. And that just feels wrong and painful and... Right? I'm sorry for whining about it. Might feel like whining. But because it's really... I'm really passionate about this, right? I want to call myself a big ass Total War fan, because that's not true. But I am a fan of the Total War series, and I am actually really getting into Warhammer Fantasy, because I used to be a 40k guy. But I'm really getting into Warhammer Fantasy thanks to this mod, and due to the interaction I have with you guy. And I actually really would like to do an LP on Warhammer Total War. But with the way things are going, I'm almost like, I cannot do this, because I should not give attention to a game or a developer that is really actually not friendly with their own damn community and just tries to fuck them over every chance they get, because that's how it's feeling right now. It feels like they don't really give a shit, and that's painful. There are different types of developers, and it's quite clear that Sega feels like a developer who does not care about his own community, but just about... it does pretend. It feels like they pretend they care about the community, because they do actually a lot of community interactions and all that kind of stuff. But it feels like they're not. Besides the fact that they have made some grievous mistakes in the past and never apologized for it, it seems like a company that just does not apologize for mistakes they make and just keep going. They're stubborn. They feel stubborn, hard-headed, right? To give you an example, they nearly destroyed Total Biscuit's career by starting to ban making penalty strikes against channels that had Shining Force content on it, but even videos that just mentioned Shining Force or anything along those lines. They never apologized for any of that. I think that is a bit weird to just say, right, we made a mistake, we didn't realize YouTubers were becoming a big thing, I'm sorry we nearly destroyed your career and your livelihood. I'm sorry, it can be a minor letter you sent an email, like just officially apologizing. Right, it's a very minor thing to do, and the amount of goodwill you can create with that is just ginormous, right? Like I said, I have my education in marketing, communication, all that kind of stuff. You can be a massive asshole as a company if you do it the right way. I don't know who Sega hires to do their marketing campaigns, but they are lacking one very crucial thing, and that is actually communicating with their when there's bad, negative feedback. They don't solve that problem, and that's one of the most important things you need to do, especially in this day and age with the internet, stuff like Twitter or Facebook and all that kind of stuff. It really should force a company to focus on maintaining a very good relationship with their fan base, right? Because they are the ones that are paying your salary. Sounds silly, but without your fan base, Creative Assembly and Total War and Sega, you're not making any money. They are the reason you're making money. And we are big fans of a lot of work that you do. Well, I think there's a general consensus that starts growing more and more. I don't know, because I think lots of people don't speak out on this subject. They think, well, we're getting fucked, whatever. I'm getting used to it, which I think is a very shameful stance to take, because you're a goddamn gamer. Start making some noise. Let's just do a bit of the game, actually. You're a goddamn gamer, so you should make some noise. Yes, we can influence developers. Look at the pre-order campaign that was for the new Deus Ex game. The pre-order campaign was abysmal, and the community just went nuts. They were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they changed it. They changed the campaign. It's still not not your top of the line #1 campaign, but it's a lot better compared to what it was. You should change that stuff. And I'm glad that they did. I really should check one thing real quick here. Where will this tribal army be summoned? If it is in my capital, it's not really that useful, is it? Oh, we're not even at war. But I think the one big tip I can give to Sega is, if you got negative feedback, you got to do something with it. You can't just, put your fingers in your ear and start saying la 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 and ignore the fact that there is a portion of your community. Just address it. Acknowledge the fact that you realize that people are pissed at you. That's the least you can do. But you're not. They started deleting comments. It's not the way it's not the way things should go. It makes things worse. Because if people figure out that you're deleting comments, they say, what the fuck? They're deleting comments. It's censorship. And, well, as people that live in the Western world, one of the few things that we really do not like is censorship. Especially if we know about it, right? It's a complicated thing. That's it for sure. But I think there are a few things that they can do to improve the situation. Their image is it's not. Sega doesn't have the best image in the world to begin with. They have some big turds in their history, and I think they can really solve some of that knowledge, like Colonial Marines, right? Not really that nice of a history piece, you know, that kind of stuff. Anyway, here you can clearly hear how passionate I am about stuff like this, and how pissed off I am by just doing it so utterly wrong. Ugh, I hate it, can't stand it. So I don't think looting this province dry is actually gonna do much for us. Let's see if we can start raiding the capital province. You know, I think if we pillage the holdings, there's the biggest chance that we gain the Dark Crystal if it's here to begin with. No, he has got an army to stop me though. Well, we know it's not in this province here, so perhaps we should stay here and loot this one first. I guess we should. I just really want Total War to be a good game, and I really don't want to support a developer, not a developer, a publisher that doesn't care about his fan base, doesn't seem to care about his fan base. And I'll be honest, the more I see of Warhammer Total War, the more skeptical I am getting if it's a good game. There are several mechanics they've shown in their latest video with the way the tunnel system works, but I'm like, wow, this just feels lazy. It's just like shoddy work, you know? I guess that's the thing, it just doesn't... this game, it has so much potential. And this is running way long because I'm on a big massive rant now and I don't want to do an entire rant through the week, right? But they showed a system where the tunnels underneath the world can be used. And it just felt lazy. I don't know what it was, but there is no tunnel map. It's just like, well, find an entrance to the underworld or whatever it's called. And you basically can move through objects and pop out somewhere else, and there's a minor chance of being intercepted by nearby armies. And I was sitting there, I was like, with the budget that this game has, couldn't you just develop a underworld map proper or something along those lines? Do something different, because it just feels like a teleportation technique somehow. Doesn't really feel right, especially because they went underneath a giant volcano, which is, well, that's something else. And the campaign map just looks weird. Because I think we all need to have a proper look at this thing before we can make a decision. But so far there are a lot of things where I'm like, I don't know how that is gonna work in the end. If that's the best decision you could have made. I'm just really afraid that I screw it up, right? I had trouble getting used to the new Total War system when the province system and all that kind of stuff, which really changed the game. And they're slowly moving towards a place where I'm like, yes, it is different from what medieval was, because medieval and Rome 1 were clearly different from Empire, Napoleon, and Shogun, because those three were similar-esque. And then you got Rome 2, which was really different, now Attila. I think there are technically an improvement over their predecessors. But they are different, yeah, I'll give you that. But I'm wondering what they're gonna do. The map feels weird, what I've shown so far. It's like army models feel way too big compared to what the rest of the map is. And the maps feel really confined somehow, but that's mostly because probably they've only shown you what they've shown is just confined space. But you know, I have the very strong suspicion they're gonna fuck it up, and I don't like that idea. I really don't, because I was getting excited about this, and I hope that they allow people to write reviews before this game goes into full release, because I am not a big fan of pre-ordering at all. But if I, yeah, this is the deal, right? This is the big thing, and this is what really gives me some mental anguish. If they have non-paid for pre-sale reviews of people that I can respect and know that they will give a honest opinion all the time, and it's overall good, then I would be considering myself to pre-order, simply because I will not have to pay another $15 or euros or wherever you're from for the goddamn DLC. That's the problem. That's the entire problem with the deal. It just forces you to pay to pre-order, and you should not pre-order. But I'm not. I don't have a lot of disposable income that I could just throw at games. I'm a student. I barely make any money at all, and I need to pay for my house and for my sure. I need to pay for my house, for my food. I need to pay all that kind of stuff. So gaming is really, it's my biggest hobby, yes, but it's the third bit in the expenditure, right? It's my life first, then it's my school, and then it's gaming. And actually, my friends should be actually on number 3, but not all. Oh, well, you know, you can't have everything. So just forking over $60 or euros or your regional equivalent, without being assured that what you're buying is actually a proper product. And this is, and people say, well, there's the Steam refund system now, so it's a good thing. Yes, but there's only 2 hours you can form an opinion, and especially with a big ass game like, I don't know, for example, Total War series, or most of this Paradox RPGs, it takes me at least a couple hundred hours to form a decent opinion. Well, Total War is not a couple hundred hours, I'll be honest with you. Until I have my opinion formed in about 40 hours or so of playtime. But that still means that there was 40 hours of playtime which I could have made the decision, well, actually, this game is shit. Right. It would have been lovely to be able to know this beforehand, right? And not afterwards. Okay. And that the incentive to pre-order is so damn high just because of that DLC that they're adding onto it, and that's the entire reason they're doing it, right? But forcing somebody to pre-order that bad just feels like Sega or somebody knows, well, this game is actually kind of shit, right? Because it's like yeah, you can buy this car. When you buy this car, you if you buy this car, you get you get all the features for free on it, right? If somebody would tell me that, I would like, whoa, that's very lovely, but that's about 3,000 euros of free stuff you're basically giving away. What's the catch? Nothing in this life is for free, right? There is a reason they're doing something like this, and giving such a big and very important feeling faction away behind a paywall just feels like they are highly unsure about the viability of their game. It just feels like Sega or Creative Assembly or both are sitting there from, well, we just made a Total War game and we have the feeling it's shit. So we need to coax people into pre-ordering it so that we already have the money made to even to run even and make it or make profit, right? It's just a very bad thing. It feels like I'm worried, right? I'm just worried. I think it's a shame if they fuck it up. It's gotta be if Sega, I will be honest with you, if Sega fucks up massively with this, it's gonna be bad for a lot of people, a lot of fans will just be completely off Sega because they've burned a couple of bridges, and I don't know how many they've got left. I don't know how many goodwill they've got left. But I've been skeptical of Sega most of my life, to be honest. Why are we not sieging? Not enough. Right, now we are. But they don't have a track record that is always good or always bad. You know, it's so I've been skeptical of them for the longest of time. There are certain developers where you know what you get, what you buy. Bethesda in-house developed stuff. You just know what you buy. You buy a big, massive open world game which is full of bugs, but you can assume that what you're getting is right. What they're showing is what you're getting. It's not the graphical most beautiful games, but they're you know what you're buying. Blizzard, you know what you're buying. It's well, I gotta be honest. Lately, you're buying more gameplay than a story, which is a flip they've made at some point. I don't really agree with that, but right, it's there. But you know what you're buying. A Paradox, you know what you're buying, right? Paradox has his, own unique brand of doing things. I can know for sure that Hearts of Iron 4 will be most likely a very, very enjoyable game, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Well, mostly because I also enjoyed Hearts of Iron 3. What I've seen so far, and they're very transparent in my opinion. Looks really good, and I just know it's Paradox. But I also know that there will be things that are completely wonky and borked and broken because it is Paradox programming. There's always shit that does not work, but I know that, right? And I know that Paradox are really, really on the ball with this stuff. They immediately acknowledge, yes, shit's wrong, and we gotta fix it, and they roll out patches really quick. I'm always amazed by that. If you make a minor bug report or anything like that, within a day or two, you've usually got a response. We know this, or we don't know this. Thank you for the information, or how you can fix it. They're really on the ball with this stuff. They're really, really good on the community side. They really spend a lot of time and most likely money on getting on the good side of their community. And I like that. I think that's a good thing, and I think most developers should. And Blizzard has its own unique way of dealing with the community, which is, you can say it's not a good thing or it is a good thing, but you can say for damn sure they've got their own unique way of doing things. But a company like Sega, they're weird, right? They're not really on the ball with their community. They invest in it in a very strange way. In my opinion. So that's why I really don't know anything about the company proper. I know what Ubisoft does. I know how they work right now, and it's a strange thing, I'll give you that, but you can... if Ubisoft releases something, you can put some very big question marks behind the actual quality of the game and with the reviews, right? And you usually can expect a very, very similar systems in all their games. It's just the way the company works, and I don't mind it, but I know what I'm buying. Like Far Cry Primal, Far Cry, yeah. They created Far Cry Primal, and I've seen a little bit of gameplay of it, and I was hoping for something different, but it feels like a generic Far Cry game, which, well, you get a cat, right? But it doesn't feel much different from Far Cry. What I've seen so far, I haven't really looked or read up on it, but so far it just looks, I'm really expecting, okay, it's gonna be another Far Cry game. And the way they handle the Division, it's keep getting delayed, and it's looking like less and less and less and less and less each time. A very ambitious project, didn't really work. That's something they do. But at least you know what to expect. It's a lot of your EA. It's gotta look fancy, but there's a big chance it's gotta be just that it stays at just looking fancy. Battlefront's a very good example of that. It looks and sounds amazing, but it's a shit game. I haven't played it. I'll be honest, I played a beta, and I thought it was shit. I really like the old Battlefront games. That's why I didn't buy it. I think, wow, this just feels like one generic shooter which is lacking even proper shooter content. You could have at least... And then I'll be honest, the biggest part I liked of Battlefront was the space campaign stuff. Alright, so there's no Dark Warp here. We're nearly dead anyway. That was bad. Anyway, sorry, this is a 40-minute rant. It's started to become, to make a long story short, I am afraid that the new Total War game is going to be shit because the way Sega is handling their community part and what they're showing so far. They're not creating any trust for me as a consumer whatsoever. And I would like to suggest that that people would become more vocal about it. Just, you know, let the world know that what Sega is doing is weird and that we should watch out for them. Unless they become more transparent towards the community. Why are they not responding on the fact that a large portion of people are speaking out by their DLC practices? Why are they not responding? The only moment that Sega properly responds that I've ever seen them do was with Rome 2 Total War, because they majorly dropped the ball there. They just completely fucked up. And the outrage was so bad that they had to respond. Because the game was broken. Nearly beyond repair. And they fixed it mostly, but it was not a good thing. And I think we should learn from that. And they should learn from that. And it doesn't seem like they have. Anyway. I can keep on going forever, but I've got more stuff to do, sadly. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a very good day. Bye-bye.